Another quiet evening here tonight. Oh, I'm not doing too much. I'm kind of busy today with the bowl and running around working the yard and stuff, cemetery. Oh, it's like today went by pretty fast. Oh, I got your call here some time ago. How everybody's doing, whatnot. Okay, well, it's been a pretty cool day. It has quite a bit of rain up there, you probably know, or different parts of Southern California. It was kind of nice, but I wish we could have had more of it. I guess there's more coming on the way eventually. All right. Give me a call when you get a chance. Take care. I love you. Bye-bye.
Sandra and I grew up calling him Daddy. He was Daddy from the beginning and all the way to the end. His given name was Howard Walter Wright. Making videos about my father, Daddy, is not new to me. Over the years, he was almost always an agreeable participant. Perhaps he was just as eager to allow my camera lens a window into his humanity as I was eager to capture it. When I was young, such interaction was all but inconceivable, but for the last 30 years or so, it became an evolving new normal, and for that, I am eternally grateful. Daddy afforded me a lifetime of lessons and gifts. What follows will be a potentially uneven accounting of those lessons, gifts, and an anecdote or two. Indulge me if you will. First among them was the understanding that being a disciplinarian and giving unconditional love were not mutually exclusive. In the parenting of my own children, Evan and Allison, I've forged my own interpretation of those tenets. Daddy and my late mother, Barbara Bowman Wright, his life partner for almost 56 years, were a unified front in raising me and Sandra. For better and for worse, our bond is forever. Daddy introduced me to baseball. His favorite baseball team was the Pittsburgh Pirates. Perhaps it was no mere coincidence that the Pirates won the World Series in 1960, the year of my birth. In a manner of speaking, baseball was something that we shared from the beginning. As my father and I started turning a positive corner in the mid-1980s, we experienced many touch points together. I will always be very proud of the near 3 decades that he and I attended at least one Dodgers-Pirates game each summer at Dodgers Stadium. Baseball games, essays that I wrote about him, my family tree pursuits, and birthday and holiday videos were all part of that process. My favorite video about him was Someplace We Could Talk, which, by the way, was the barbershop. And guess what we talked about? Yep, mostly baseball. Occasionally, he would actually meet me at the local park and watch me hit the ball. He took the time to hit a few pitched balls himself, and I even got him to pitch to my mother once. And she hit it. Our father was, for the most part, a model of physical fitness. As a mail carrier for over 30 years, he stayed slim and trim. He retired from the post office in 1987, but he kept on walking at the Rose Bowl with his friends and younger brother, our Uncle Wilbert. I admired his pursuit of physical well-being. He knew when to be quiet, almost to a fault, and he was the master at staying cool. He and my mother both brought jazz into my life. I didn't become an enthusiast until my 30s. However, the die was cast at a young age for me, both at home and at the barbershop. Like a family heirloom, my love for jazz has been passed down to my son Evan, who, like my late mother, is a gifted musician in his own right. It used to touch my heart when Evan would either sing or play piano for his grandfather. Daddy taught me how to ride a bike without training wheels on the same playground that I taught Evan over 30 years later.
You're going. You're pedaling. Great job.
He taught me how to take care of my personal possessions, chief among them automobiles. I don't think that he knew how to fix a car, but he sure knew how to make a car look good. I love cars too. I've owned several in my life. Some of my most memorable times in a vehicle have been with Evan and Allison. I still have and cherish those conversations in the car with Allison. Some of my father's lessons were lost on me, and for that I have suffered. Our mother passed away in January of 2008. Daddy and Mother were quite a pair. They were woven into each other's fabric. After her death, Daddy and I would go to the cemetery to visit her. Occasionally, when I called to see if he was up to it, he wasn't. When that happened, I would take a few photos of the flowers by her headstone and show them to him during my next visit. I recall one of the signs that gave me and Sandra comfort that he was going to get through it was when he had the house repainted green, her favorite color. Slowly and over time, he moved forward. He continued his walks at the Rose Bowl, visits to the library to read the newspaper, buying his groceries, visiting friends and neighbors in their home and his, and even attending church on occasion. I think it bears mentioning that his church attendance later in his life was not a complete indicator of my father's religious beliefs. As I shared 11 years ago in my Father's Day video, his mother, Sarah Eva Bruce, sang in her church choir, and it was there where she met her future husband, James Andrew Wright, who had informal training in the ministry. Thus, Daddy's spiritual moorings were established early. He often told me that church on Sundays was an all-day affair when growing up. He later sang in the church choir himself. After moving from Pittsburgh to Monrovia, California in 1946, it was as a member of his church choir in Pasadena where he met his future bride, Barbara Ann Bowman, a transplant from New York. I've been working on the family tree since about 1991. I've gone back to 1850 on his mother's father's side. Somewhere along the way, I found out that one of his first cousins, Clarence Bruce Jr., had played for the Homestead Grays in the late 1940s. He actually saw Clarence play. I loved baseball as a boy and into adulthood. My father, the same. So, upon finding out that I had a relative who played in the Negro Leagues through another relative, I circled back to my father and I asked him why he never told me before. Guess what he said? You never asked. Our father could make you laugh without even trying that hard. He had a great sense of humor, and when he laughed, his eyes opened wide, his shoulders kind of shook up and down, and everyone around him would start laughing too. Going on about 2 years ago, I noticed that my father's once Shangri-La landscaping was in decline. After a series of falls, he was not able to attend to his yard like he had wanted. I saw that his prized roses, some that were close to 50 years old, weren't doing too well. I asked him if it would be okay if I dug up 3 that appeared to have the best chance for survival, and replanting them in my own garden. He agreed. 2 of them didn't make it. However, the biggest one of the 3 took hold and produced blooms, several of which I took to my father's to enjoy. Needless to say, we both got a lot of joy from that. As I came to learn, our father was an amazing man. As Mark Twain once reportedly said, the older I got, the smarter my father got. Our father lived a full life, over 92 years, and it's still hard to believe that he's gone. Over the years, largely due to my Facebook posts, I've been approached by many, exclaiming that my father and I must have had a wonderful relationship. And as I've already shared, we didn't start off there, but that is where we ended up.